Oh, wow. A bunch of you are on. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I'm missing questions. Let me find. How is everybody doing? All right, as people are hopping on, look, I'm doing some reorganizing. Can I show you this cool thing I made? I know it's kind of far away, but look at what I did to my pastes and my inks. I'm excited. There's a Lazy Susan under there, like a turntable. And I've got all my chalk pastes and all my inks. I'm going to try to declutter this. And then over here I have all my Waverleys on one rack. So I'm just sharing a little bit of my organization that I was working on right before I came live. Okay. Homegrown. What are we talking? Oh, okay. We're talking veggies. Wow. All right. Fun project. Okay, yeah. Yep. So if, let me show you. Where did I put them? Right here. So, oops. So these are the cards I'm using. Okay, these are from, I know, getting all busy. These are from Hobby Lobby. So this pack comes with 100 cards and 100 envelopes. And the cards measure 5 by 7. Just so you know, whatever measurement it says here, that's for the cards. And then the envelopes are always a little bit bigger, obviously, to fit the cards. So if you took a card and actually, when you get them in these packages, they're scored. Can you see the score line there? They're scored in the middle, but they're not folded. So this is 10 inches and this is 7, so that when you fold it in half, it's 5 by 7. Okay, I saw that question. All right, I saw another question. All right, I thought I saw another question. I saw it on my, okay, so the crates are from Dollar Tree. I used 24 crates. So as you can see, I've got, this is 2 crates high and 3 crates wide. And this bigger crate, you can fit 3 of our chalk paste or inks in. So I have 6 crates on all 4 sides. Now look, I could go, and I may end up needing to do this, I don't know. I could take 12 more and go another layer higher. And then it's just a turntable I got from Amazon, I think, that you can put your crafts on. It's about 10 inches in diameter. And I just have this crate thing. All these are glued together with wood glue. And then I just have them sitting on the turntable. And then I can just turn it. This is open in the middle. I actually have my glitters in here because I really only use those at Christmas time. So I can hide all sorts of things in there. So that is how I did that. All right. Awesome. Okay, so thank you. Yeah, and I think once I get the rest of the stuff cleaned up, it's going to clean this up a lot more. Over here, I have these are the plastic boxes from Hobby Lobby that I have my scrapbooking paper collections in. Most of these are from Echo Park. And I have 8 over here that some of them have the cardstock that I do paper crafting with. Some have chipboard and others have like 3 or 4 of these collections in them. What I'd like to do is what I did over here and make skinny shelves so they're not having to be stacked on top of each other, because this makes it really hard to get one out, especially if I want this one. It's really hard to pull out because they do stack and kind of lock on top of each other. So I'm thinking I'm going to make more shelves here for these and probably move my binders of stencils over here. So I don't know. This whole system is built in. This is the office of the parsonage. So there's these racks here and these little clips. You can move these shelves around. I'm just not sure how many extra shelves I have. So I may have to do some more rearranging, but that's not why you guys came on to see my organization. How am I storing my large stencils? Okay, Patty, so under my desk, I have a tension curtain rod. And for my large stencils, I have these hangers and these large bags in my Amazon storefront. This is what I do. I put them in these big bags, at least 2 or 3 of them, and I hang them with pant hangers down here on my little curtain rod. So that is how I store my large stencils. Vertical storage for your paper. Do you mean for like these paper packs? The only thing, I used to store them vertically, but I found that they kind of slip down. I really like these plastic cases because if I'm going to work on a certain collection, and then I can throw like washi tape in there that matches, and any other things that go in there, or that all kind of coordinate. So, all right. Yes. I was only going to make this if I walked into a Dollar Tree and they had 24 of the crates. And I actually stood there and tried to make sure that they all were going to like line up together. So I made this over the last couple days. I probably am going to post a reel about it. It's super, super easy. I glued a row of 3. So I glued 8 rows of 3 crates together. And then I took 2 sets of 3 and glued them together here. So I had the group of 6. And then I stood them up and have them glued like this. And it's not perfect, but it works for me and I really like it. And I do like that I could go higher if I wanted to, or I can do another shelf down lower for my paper boxes. So yay. All right. We are here. I'm so excited to be here. I can't believe it's Thursday already. I feel like this week has gone super fast. And I have a fun little project, another mini album project that I found. It was an older YouTube video, but I found it while I was in Colorado. Hold on, someone asked a question. Here's a Waverly. Yes, but only one. Only one Waverly paint will fit in each one. So that's going to be a lot of crates. So for me, it works better just to have one of these spice racks. And I have 8. That's 26 Waverly paints right there. They're kind of in front and behind each other. I think you can kind of figure that out. Oh, I'm so full of good ideas. Well, thank you. Thank you. Anyway, so I found this older YouTube video. It's about 4 years old. It's making a mini album out of the cards. Okay, so this is cards and envelopes. I have other, I'm trying to remember if I already posted the video of how to make an album just with envelopes. So I'm going to, of course, save the envelopes because I'm going to make a different kind with that. But for this project, you're just going to use cards. And the method I'm going to show you, what is this? Oh, the method I'm going to show you can be modified for any size cards. Okay. Yes, Amy, I'm pretty sure I started filming just when I was gluing the crates together, and that's pretty much all there is. So then I'm just going to finish the reel just by showing that it's on a turntable and then how they all fit. So yes, that'll come in a reel hopefully in the next couple days. Thank you for asking. All right, so I have instructions in front of me, but basically I'm going to show you what you need. And I realize when I tip this down, you're going to be seeing like opposite, like where I am is going to be at the top of your screen. But I think it'll still work. It just will be, maybe the book will be upside down. All right, so this is what I'm using. I'm using 15 of these 5x7 cards. Okay, so I'm going to use 8 of them to make the pages, and I'm going to show you a finished book here in just a second. I'm going to use 2 more to make pockets. I'm going to use 2 more to make the cover of our album. We're not even going to use chipboard. We're going to use cards for the cover. And then I'm trying to think what I had these other ones for. Oh, we need at least 1 to make the hinge. And then we need 2 to make some little insert cards. Okay, so 14 or 15 is about what you need. So if it comes with 50, you get it when Paper Studio is half price. You pay $5, you can make like 3 albums and then some extras, okay? I'm also gonna use a little bit of white cardstock just to make my cover a little more decorative. And the measurements I'm using, and I'm gonna give you, are to use 6x6 inch paper. When these are 40% off at Hobby Lobby, I love to grab these. This was a new one that I had not seen before. It's called Bees. And I don't know if you can see, but it's blues, yellows, a little bit of this, what would you call it? Coral. So cute. So I'm going to use some of this scrapbook paper. Okay. All right. Let me show you a finished book. This is one I made while I was in Colorado. Oh, there you go. All right, so again, this is just the cards and some cardstock. So here's my cover. What was this one called? Let me see. This was another one I picked up while I was in Colorado. It's called Floral Farmhouse. All right, so this is the paper pad I used for this one I'm going to show you. First of all, let me just show you what I love about this album. It lays completely flat because of the hinge we're going to make. And this live video of me showing you this is probably going to be quite a bit longer than just an actual tutorial video, because I want to be able to answer questions. And I'm probably going to do way more explaining than necessary. But when I film a tutorial, you can watch that as well and get this. But basically, we've got our cover. And then we've got 4 pairs of pages. And I'll show you what I mean by pairs of pages in a second. 3 and 4. So 8 pages, but every 2 pages, okay, each page has a flap that has a pocket, and you can make a little insert card. So that's the front, and then they're glued together, and the back side also has a flap, a pocket, and an insert card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 pages, but every 2 are together on a single piece of the hinge. Does that make sense? Booksplaining. Yes. Very good. So, and then I decorated the spine and I decorated the back cover. Now, with 5x7 cards, you'll notice with this album that the pages stick out just a little bit, but that doesn't bother me. I actually think it helps protect the edges of the cover. But of course, if you were going to just cut cards, you could cut them a little narrower, and then they wouldn't go past. But I kind of like it, and I love that it can be really flat. Of course, this has nothing in it yet, but this is what we're going to make. So there's kind of 3 steps to making this album. At least that's how I've organized it. One is the pages, and those actually take the longest time. Then there's the hinge. That's what we attach the pages to so that they turn. And then the cover. Okay? So, are you guys ready? Does anybody have any questions before I start? I'm looking here in the chat. Any questions? All right, and I think oh, yes, you could do that too. She's asking about making a tie closure. Yep, that would be really easy to add. Before you attach this to the front and to the back, if you attach a piece of ribbon on each side, then put your cover decoration on, and then you'd have, that would hold your ribbon down, and then you could tie it. That's a great idea. Yes, I've done that before on some of my other albums. Okay, I did also list in the description some basic tools that you're going to want. If you are wanting to start exploring paper crafting, okay, there's some things you're going to need. And I did put links to my Amazon storefront if you don't have these things and you want them. No pressure. I just wanted to make it easy for you. This is a paper trimmer. I love this Fiskars trimmer. These replaceable blades are easy to find, even at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Amazon, of course, but Hobby Lobby and Walmart for sure have these. It extends out to 12 inches, actually 15 inches, so you can cut large things. So a paper trimmer is important. A scoreboard is not essential, but it does make it easier. You could do the scoring with a ruler. You can even do it with your trimmer. They do also sell scoring blades, so instead of cutting, it's going to score. All right, and that just means it's gonna make that little crease down the middle. Can you see it? Yep, that's a score mark. Okay, so we score so that we can fold things evenly. So not necessary. I did put the link for a smaller one in the description. Sorry, got distracted. A bone folder is very helpful. You could use a credit card or even like this burnishing tool to make your folds really crisp. You'll want probably a corner rounder, not necessary, but you're gonna see like on my pages, on the little flaps, I rounded the corners, and on the pockets, I rounded the corners. It just gives it a little more of a decorative look. And when I was in Colorado on vacation, I'm like, oh, I didn't bring my corner rounder. I went to Hobby Lobby and this thing was like $5 and it does 3 different sizes of corners. An adhesive tape runner of some sort. Often I use this Elmer's one, which is available at Walmart, and you can buy refills there too. And then also some glue. I like this art glitter glue. It's great for paper. It dries clear. It's non-toxic, acid-free. So you're going to see me use this. And it comes with this really precision metal tip, which is awesome. So that is pretty much, oh, and I am going to use some score tape. I know they have versions of this also at Hobby Lobby, and I'm not sure about Walmart. It's possible. But basically it's just a strong tape, and this is 1/2 inch that we're going to use. Okay. Sometimes, Marlene, if I go out and come back in, also make sure you have it set to all messages and not just top messages, because if you have top messages, it's not going to show you everything. Okay? All right. So, like I said, the first thing we're going to do is make all those flap pages for inside our book. And because I'm using 6 by 6 inch paper, I need to trim the height of my cards down just a little bit. So instead of 7 inches, I'm going to trim them to 6 1/4. And are you guys okay not seeing me as long as you can hear me and see what I'm doing? Hopefully. All right, but I can see my phone, so I can see if there's questions. All right, so 6 1/4 inches. I'm going to basically take 8. I'm only going to do this to my 8 for now that I'm using for the actual pages of my album. Okay, and you guys, please ask questions as we're going along. I don't want to feel like, oh, I'm going too fast or whatnot. And okay, so, and don't worry, I do have some of these steps already completed, so it's not gonna take forever. But I want to just show you, hi Denise, that I'm just trimming the height of my cards down from 7 inches to 6 1/4. And this is for my 8 cards that I'm using to make the inside pages of my book. So I like to stock up on these card and envelope sets when all the Paper Studio stuff is on sale, which I think is this week also at Hobby Lobby. You guys are so cute. I love how you like greet each other and check in with each other. We have a little community here, don't we? All right, and I don't need these pieces. Okay, so that is my 8 cards. So that's the first step, is I trimmed them down height-wise. I took 3/4 of an inch off. Now what I'm gonna do is on 1/2 of my card, okay, I'm gonna trim off 1.5 inches. This is what's gonna give us, I'm cutting this much off basically to make my little flap, okay? So I'm gonna do that on all 8 cards. Yes, it is, Rita. I'm gonna cut off 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna line up, no, wait a second. Yeah, okay. So from one of the edges, I'm gonna put one of the edges on 1.5 inches and trim it off. So now I have 5 inches and 3.5 inches. So we're gonna do that to all 8. So you guys, if you want, you can take notes while I'm doing this, or you can just watch and wait for a tutorial video. But this is probably, I mean, the pages are a little, they seem a little complicated with the flaps, but I think once I show you how to make them, it's pretty simple. And the cover and the hinge are like the simplest cover and hinge I've ever made. Cutting at what dimension? I'm cutting 1.5 inches off of one side of each card. Okay, so here's my full card, and I'm cutting 1.5 inches off, just on one side of each card. And this is on my 8. This is cutting it off of my 8 pieces that are going to be my pages. Okay. All right, so we trimmed the height, and then we trimmed 1.5 inches off this side. Can you see how this is smaller than this? All right, now what we're gonna do is we're going to round the 2 corners on the short side. Woo, as I throw my corner rounder. And you could probably do 2 at a time, make it a little faster, if they'll fit inside your corner rounder. Did that answer your question? Is it Triva? I love that name, so pretty. Why are these not? Okay, one of these. Did not get cut all the way. There we go. I was wondering why that one was sticking up a little. All right, great. Oh, you're making it with me. Wow. All right. No pressure. Already do some paper crafting if you have all the stuff to make this. All right. Or maybe you used cardstock. All right. All right. I am seeing that another, I must have been talking and cutting at the same time, because I have another one of my cards that is not all the way to 6 1/4. Figure that out now. There we go. Much better. Okay. All right. 8 of those. So that's our base of our 8 pages. Now, I'm not going to do anything with those yet. Remember I said we need 2 more cards that we're going to cut from each card 4 2.5-inch strips. So 4 and 4, that's going to be 8. That's going to give us these pockets. Okay, under this decorative blue paper, there is cardstock pocket. All right. Okay, so 2.5 2.5 inches. And because I don't want to get this line in here, I just make it a tiny, like on the right hand side of the 2.5 mark, so that I don't have to get the score line that's already there. Oop, that one got right on it, it looks like. Okay, so 2.5 inches, 3 and tiny little sliver, 4. Okay, let's get 4 more from our, let's see, this would be our 10th card. And 8. All right, so those are our pockets. And we're going to corner round one of the long sides. So both corners on one of the long sides, like this. Okay, on all 8. You guys still with me? I just love making stuff. Did you guys catch my Facebook Live today at 1? The 2 projects I made with the rub-ons. Oh my gosh. I'm going to post pictures after this because I was spraying them in the garage and they should be done. Scrapbook paper you won't do projects with because paper is so pretty. Sometimes. I actually just got rid of a bunch of paper that I had made books with, but then I had like a bunch of random pieces left, and so I got rid of a bunch. Okay, I'm gonna set the trimmer down for a second because what I want to do now is I have my 8 pages and I have my 8 pockets. Okay, that's what I've cut so far. So we can do this. We can take our cards, which should already be scored, and we're going to use our bone folder to press it down really, really well so it's nice and crisp. We're going to do all 8 of them. Oh, you're welcome, Rita. You're so sweet. All right. You know what? I don't need to do all these because I have a bunch. I'm just going to show you one pair of 2, okay? So basically, if you noticed in the book, you've got your first page has a flap, and the flaps always fold out, okay? And then the page behind it, the flap also folds out, all right? And if you look at the paper that I cut just on the page, I've got this pattern here and here behind this card. And then I have the blue pattern here and here. So for each flappy page, I'm going to use 2 different patterns of paper. I hope this makes sense and doesn't confuse you. And then on this one, I used 2 different patterns. Okay? Here and here, here and here. So let's make one set. I'm going to show you how to put together one set. What you're going to do is find 2 pieces, and I cut these all at once. These are the 2 pieces of decorative paper from that pack that I'm going to use for the top one. And then I'm going to use these 2, probably in this order, for the one that's going to go behind it, okay? And I'll put all these dimensions in the tutorial video for sure. But what you want to do, okay, so here's my 2 pieces of 6x6 for one of my flappy pages, all right? So each one, the first one, whichever one's going to be on the outside that you see first, you're going to cut at 3 1/4. And that's going to make your other piece 2 3/4. This one's going to go here. And this one's going to go here. Okay? Now my second piece, I'm going to cut it 3 1/4 again to go on the back side of my flap right here. And then this one that's going to go on top of the pocket is going to be 2 1/4. So your inside, the piece that's only on your inside, you're going to have a little bit left of that. Okay, basic, why is this? Oh, you know what I did, you guys? On the ones for the pockets, I forgot to first cut them to 6 1/4. So, pardon me. This is what happens when I try to craft late at night, apparently. Goodness. I'm like, why are these pockets so big? Maybe because you didn't trim the paper. All right, I'm not going to go through all of these, but here, now you can see this is going to fit right on top. So a basic rule of thumb for your decorative paper is to cut it 1/4 inch smaller than the dimensions of the paper you're putting it on top of. Okay? Hi, Gabby. All right, so this is going to go on our little pocket. So once we put it all together, here's our flap. There's the back of the flap, this piece, and then this is going to be our pocket. All right, I'm going to show you one more, and then I'm going to show you how they go together. Okay, I'm going to do these two pieces together. And again, 3 1/4, because remember, our flap is 3 1/2 inches. So we're going to cut the paper to go on top of it at 3 1/4 inches. That gives us that nice border all the way around. All right, let's see. This one is going to go this way. So we would do this one here and this one on the inside. And hold on. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because I haven't glued anything down yet. But this is our first page, okay? This one's going to go like this. Here. 3 1/4 for the back of our flap, and 2 1/4 for on top of the pocket, which again we need to cut to the right size. Okay, like this. So hopefully that made sense. And you're going to just do that, the same cuts of paper for all 8 of your pages. I have one that I started earlier, but I'm going to show you on these 2 that we just cut how we're going to attach everything together. Here's our flappy page. I need to round these corners so that it matches the cardstock flap, the card flap. Oh, I'm so glad, Gabby. Sometimes I feel like I'm not making sense. Okay, so this is going to be our first page. I'm going to go ahead and you can use wet glue. Just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to use an adhesive runner. You're going to line this up so that it has about the same amount of border all the way around. Okay, so our page is going to go like this. So then on the inside, we're going to have our other 3 1/4 inch piece, rounding those 2 outside corners. I do? Okay. Well, this is supposed to be for beginners, so I just don't want to make it too complicated. All right, so I'm going to show it how, as if you're looking at my book. Okay, you open the cover. Here's your first page. Flap goes out. All right. Now we're going to do our other yellow piece right here. Okay, now we're not going to stick our pocket down yet. First, I'm going to round the corners of the decorative paper. And then we're going to stick it on the top. It's going to go like this. Oops. That's okay. The bees are going both ways. All right. So again, here's going to be our page. Pretend that's glued down. Flap, pocket. And this is what we're going to do to attach our pocket. We're going to line up the square corners, okay? So the opening of our pocket is going to be where the rounded edges are. So I'm going to take my art glitter glue and I'm just going to do a really thin line on the two sides and on the long edge that has the straight corners. Then I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to line up those corners. Because it's glue, you got a little bit of time to move it around, make sure it's in place. Press on the sides, press on this side here. Okay, so now, where'd that piece go that I pulled out? Well, it doesn't matter what I put in here. See, now we've got a pocket here, okay? So basically you're gonna repeat that process 8 times. But just remember, you're gonna do, the way you're gonna stack your pages is this one, the flap is on the right, and the next one, the flap is gonna be on the left. I am? Okay. I don't know why they call it glitter glue. It actually doesn't have any glitter in it, to be honest. That's just what it's called. It's just called Art Glitter. Art Glitter is the brand. Designer adhesive dries clear. So you can find it on my Amazon storefront or at artglitter.com. Great question. Why call it glitter? Why use glitter glue if you can't see the glitter? Okay, so this one is going to go this way. So this one, the flap is going to go to the left. And the only reason I need to pay attention to that is if I have directional paper, like obviously I don't want to glue this way because then the flowers are upside down. So I'm going to make sure my flowers are going the right direction. Yeah, I don't use glitter very often either, but this glue does not have glitter in it. It's just a really good glue for paper crafting. All right, so here's our flap on the left. Don't worry, you're not going to have to watch me do all 8 pages because I have a bunch already made. Then on the inside, the bees kind of go every direction, so it doesn't really matter which way. Just pick. This will be the inside of our flap. Okay, then our straight piece. And in case you're wondering why I don't have this piece go all the way here, it's because that pocket's there, so I don't want to waste paper by having it be hidden under a pocket. That doesn't make sense. All right. Okay. I love this paper. It's so cute. All right, my pocket's going to go this way, so I think I'll do my corners on this side. Okay, and now we're going to glue our pocket down. The 2 short sides and the long side with the straight corners. not the rounded corners. Line up those corners. It's okay if a little bit of glue squeezes out. Just rub it off. Clean it up. Okay, and we have that pocket as well. So now, when I open my book, I've got my first 2 sets of pages. I've got flap and pocket. These are going to be glued together. And then I turn it over and I've got flap and pocket. Okay, the last thing you need to do when you've gotten this far with your pages is on the back of the straight corner side, not the back of the flap side, straight corners, is you're gonna run a length of your score tape or just a strong adhesive. I don't recommend wet glue for this part, and you're gonna see why when we attach these to the hinge. Okay, this piece of score tape is basically what's going to attach each of the pages to the hinge of the book. Okay? So let me see how I had this. I had here and here. Okay, so you're going to make 8 individual pages, 4 pairs like this. All right? Okay. Anybody have any questions before I keep going? I don't want to give anybody a headache. I wonder if I could just use these in place of... Hold on, I gotta see if I need to make... If I can just throw these in. I think I can. If I do them in front. Okay. All right, I just took the 2 pages that we made and added them to ones I made earlier. So these are ones I made earlier. So we've got page number 1, page number 2, page number 3. I may not like that yellow right next to the yellow. Page number 4, page number 5, oops, page number 5, page number 6, page number 7, and page number 8. Okay, so that's how many you need. I wanted to change, let's switch a couple of these around. Let's see if I like that better. Okay, that'll do. All right, any questions on the pages? 8 sets of pages, 8 flappy pages. All right, good? Okay, so pages, done. And remember, you got to put that piece of score tape on the back, not of the hinge flappy side, but the straight corner side. All right, I'm going to set my pages aside. The next step is the hinge, and I'm going to show you first a finished hinge. Okay, this is a hinge. We're going to make this. It's really easy. It's 3 pieces of cardstock, and I'm going to tell you the dimensions. These 4 pieces sticking up here are what we're going to attach our pages to. Okay, that's what makes our book be able to lay flat. These are the spaces between those hinge pieces. Cool, right? I love it. Okay, so to make this hinge, you need another one of your cards. Okay. Oh, good, Denise. I'm so glad. All right. And again, I'm going to have all these dimensions. I maybe can add them to this video, but I think it'd be easier if when I make a tutorial video, I just have them there so it's quicker. All right, the first thing we have to do is remember to cut this card down to the height that we cut everything else down to, 6 1/4. Then I need a piece that is 3 inches. This is going to be this back piece, the back piece of our hinge. I then need a piece that is 2.5 inches. I'll go the other way here. Okay, so just a little bit smaller. That's our middle piece. And the other piece is 1.5 inches. So 3, 2.5, 1.5. That's it. Those are the 3 pieces I'm going to use to make the hinge. And this is where your scoreboard is going to come in handy. All right, get our scoreboard and our bone folder. I'm going to start with my biggest piece, my 3-inch piece. Actually, all 3 of these pieces, all you're going to do, oops, put my glue back, my pin back in my glue, is you're going to score at a 1/2 inch on both sides. So what I like to do is I put it in this corner, I score at 1/2 inch, and then I flip it around and score at 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's our first piece. So this was 3 inches. If I have a 1/2 and a 1/2, I now have a 2-inch gap. All right, this one is 2.5 inches. Again, score at 1/2 inch. Turn it around, 1/2 inch. Okay, so now I have a 1.5 inch gap because this was 2.5 minus a 1/2 minus a 1/2. 1.5 inch gap. And our 1.5 inch, again, score at a 1/2 inch. Turn it around and score at 1/2 inch. So this one just has a tiny little 1/2 inch gap. Okay. Oh, you're so welcome. Okay, I'm just kind of working the score line here with my thumbnails, and then I'm gonna fold it over. And this is called burnishing. You want to really make that fold nice and crisp. Let's come to the other side. All right, so this is going to be the middle of our hinge. So our middle 2 sets of pages are going to be on this hinge. Okay, here's our middle piece of our hinge. Okay, that's the middle piece. So our first 2 sets of pages and our last 2 sets of pages are going to be here. And this guy is just to hold it all into the spine of the book. Okay, now these flaps are actually going to end up folding backwards, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So work this set of flaps both ways. Okay, you're going to want them to be able to bend both ways. I will try, Gabby, in this video, you mean? Add them to the description? I can do that. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to now glue just on the back, this one in the middle here, and glue on the back of this into the middle here. Okay, doesn't that look like what I showed you? This guy here? Okay. Do you want to actually see me glue it, or can I just move on to the next step? The other thing this one needs is the score tape. This is my biggest one, the one that was 3 inches to start. I'm just trimming, my score tape was hanging over a little bit. All right. All right, so on the back of this middle piece, I'm going to stick this down, just eyeball it right in the middle. And it is wet glue, so if you need to scoot it a little bit, you can. Okay. And then we'll take our smallest one and do the same thing. Okay, I see I need to scoot it this way a little bit. Okay. So basically it's a stacked hinge. Sorry, I have the pin in my mouth. There we go. It's a stacked hinge. We've got now these 4 flaps that we're going to attach our pages to. Okay? This is the one I had before. So this one's already dried for a while, so we're going to use this one. All right, so that's our hinge. Step 2 is done. Let's make our cover. Like I said, this is probably the easiest step. We're going to take 2 more of our cards. We're going to, for the cover, we're going to cut these down to 6.5. I do want them to be just a little bit taller than the pages. So 6.5 for 2 of the cards for the cover. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the middle score line here on 2 inches. And I'm going to cut this 3 inches off. Okay, so this is basically going to be my front cover and the spine. And we'll do the same thing on this one. Is going to be my back cover and the spine. Okay, so these are my 2 cover pieces. I'll show you what we're going to do with them here now. All right, so fold on that what was the middle fold line, but now it's 2 inches. Okay, so just imagine that this is a book. Nope, just 1 card for the front cover and 1 card for the back cover. Then we're gonna, I mean, if you wanted to double them up, I guess you could, but I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna use some extra cardstock to make the cover a little more sturdy. And then here's the other cover. Sorry, I guess it's upside down for you guys. So basically we're going to glue one of the spines to the other one, and that's going to make our spine doubled up. Okay? Sound good? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it out a little bit again. And I'm actually going to put glue on this one. Okay, and then I'm going to come in, and it's going to be hard to see from your angle. I'm not covering up. I'm going kind of like right up to the fold, and I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so I went kind of right up to it. There's a tiny bit of space there, and then you're just going to press that down, and voila! You have an easy cover. What do you guys think about that? Super easy, right? Okay, so that's our cover. I'm gonna let that one dry. I'm gonna use one that I already have here that's been drying. And we're gonna now attach our hinge inside here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna peel off one of the pieces of score tape. And this is 2 inches. It should pretty much fit right inside the spine of our book. So I'm holding it sideways. It's just easier to see. And there is going to be a little bit of space at the top and the bottom, remember, because we cut our cover a little bit bigger. Okay, now we have to do the other side of our spine. The score tape folds to the back. It's very sticky. And we're going to line that up on the other side. Okay, there we go. We've got our spine in. We've got all 4 of our hinges sticking up, and that's what we're going to lay our pages on. Cool, right? All right, before I put the pages in here, I want to decorate the cover a little bit. And I maybe should have done this before I put the spine in, but it's okay. This is just gonna, or the hinge, I mean. All right, so what I have cut for the cover, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that all measure the same. So to give a little bit more sturdiness to our cover, I cut a white cardstock, again, a quarter inch shorter on each side, and this is going to go right in the middle. And then I think this yellow with the flowers is what I wanted for my front cover. Okay, so first I'm going to use some adhesive. And we'll center this on the white cardstock. As best you can. Okay, and then we will attach it down. You know what I might do? I think I'm going to go ahead and glue for my cover, just so it's real secure and doesn't come apart. That way too, if I need to scooch it around a little bit, I have a minute to do that. Ooh, I almost forgot. Where you have the spines put together, where you can see it there, make that the back of your book. So let me do this on this side. Okay. All right, now let's do the back cover. I was going to do this really cute, what would you call that, plaid kind of? Okay. Three-layer covers. Yeah, but it's going to be more because we're going to put some on the inside too. So this helps make the cover sturdier because our pages are pretty thick with all the layers and flaps and everything. Okay, so here's our front cover now and our back cover. We're going to put the same type of situation on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 that are the same on this one. I have this flower here. Flower drawings with bees. So what I love about using paper pads for album projects is all the papers coordinate. You just pick ones that you like together and pop them in. Okay, so that one will go there. Ah. Kind of bent my corner a little bit. See if we can straighten it out. All right. So these two we're going to glue here. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess our covers are 5 layers. Yes. Yes, you are correct. So yep, that just makes it a little more sturdy, more like a book cover. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, and this one. Now, I don't know if I said this, but instead of using a tape runner, you could use glue for everything that we've attached. Except for the score tape. So if you want to use glue instead of a tape adhesive runner, like I was attaching all of the decorative papers with, you can do that. You just might need a little extra time for things to dry. All right, now the last thing we need is our spine. And I just had the same piece that's on the inside. I'm going to use this on the spine, just like this. So a little bit more of this. The tape runner just makes it a little faster for video purposes. And all right, last piece. Remember, you can scoot it around a little bit if you need to. Press that down. There we go. Front cover, inside our hinge, and the back cover. All right. So really the last thing we need to do is attach our pages. I'm going to move my scoreboard out of the way. How are we doing so far? I see we lost a few people. Hopefully they'll be back. Any questions? Hi, Deborah. Welcome. All right. Here's our pages that are all put together, and they all have the score tape. Wait a second. This is our book. So this is how they're going to be in here like this. These two are going to be on the first hinge. We're going to move those out of the way. These two are going to be on the second hinge. These two are going to be on the third hinge. And these two at the back is where we're going to start. Okay, this very back page is going to be our first one. We're going to peel off the backing. And we're going to line this up with just a little bit of gap and then lay that hinge piece down. Okay. Now, the one that's going to go on top of it, like this, we're going to attach the sticky side of this on the other side of the hinge. But first I'm going to put some glue here so that all of this is attached. Let me just show you in this finished book. Okay? This is the front flappy page and the second flappy page. They're completely attached to each other behind this and behind this. All right? I think that makes sense. All right, so glue. And I kind of like to open the flap out so I can see where my edge is. You don't want glue over the edge. Okay, remember I started at the back of the book. Now I am going to fold that back down, and I'm going to take the adhesive off here, but I'm going to line up my corners of my two flaps. I'm going to hold them together. I'm going to press them. I can even stand them up, make sure they're lined up, and then I'm going to press this edge down on the hinge. Okay, so here's our book. Here's the back of the book. We've got flappy page, pocket, flappy page, and pocket. Okay, and you try and get these in here as straight as you can. Looks like I'm a little high, but that's okay. I'm gonna line them all up so that they're gonna be nice and straight. Okay? It all makes sense. All right, so my next one is gonna go here. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do the back two sets, and then we're gonna go back to the front and do from the front to the middle. Okay, so again, I'm gonna take off the strip from my adhesive. I'm gonna line this up, and I'm lining it up also on the page below it, trying to get things nice and straight. That bottom one is a little up, but I'm going to correct that now. I'm going to line it up really well on the hinge. There we go. Press it down. Okay, here's the one that's going to go on top of it. Remove our strip. Line up our corners of our folded flaps. I kind of stand them up, press them together, and then lay it down. Okay, it's really good if you can fold all these flaps out and just press right here in the middle where they are glued together. Maybe my hinge is a little crooked. All right, so now we've got our back two sets of pages in our book. It's looking good. All right. And then we'll come to the front. Do you guys want to watch me put these in? Or are we good? I mean, I'll do it if you want to watch. It's just the same thing 4 times. Okay, so here's our first page now. Okay, I'm laying it as flat as I can up against the hinge. Oops, with a little bit of a gap. Okay, and then we flap that hinge over. Get some glue. Oops. Okay, so I just have one more set of pages to put in. Okay, those are looking pretty good. Right here on this second hinge. Let's do the back one first. Yes, it's Dawn's Inspirations. That's who I got this from. Ooh, I see what the problem is. This one's a little crooked. Okay, that hinge is a little wonky, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. Okay. All right. And that is our book. So we have our cover. We have our first flappy page glued to our second flappy page. Our third glued to our fourth. Our fifth glued to our sixth. And our seventh glued to our eighth back page. And that's it. Okay, and then what I did for this one is I just cut some more cards, little rectangles. You could use more of your decorative paper if you wanted. For the inserts for your pockets, you could cut them about this size and then maybe put a smaller brown on the back so that it's double thick and you could journal or put pictures on that side. I also thought this was a cute plain cover that I could use one of my Magnolia Bee stencils on the front. All right. Hey, most of you, I think, stayed with me. I hope you enjoyed that. Mini photo books made out of cards and with all sorts of little flaps. And this is going to be really fun to fill up with pictures, with journaling, whatever you'd like. I know some of you said you're going to make some of these as gifts. That's awesome. I really need to make sure these are stuck together really well. But that is what I have for you tonight. So thanks so much for joining me. Hey, Kristen. You also have backgrounds to the backs where you glued them together. I don't think you need to do that because they're, one, you can't see them. Oh, do you mean here? I'm not sure where you mean. You can add as much as you want. I mean, you've got space. Okay, so you've got plenty of space in here to put pictures and whatever you want in there. But yeah, so that's what I want to share with you. I'm not sure when, with the holiday weekend, when I'll be able to get like a full-on tutorial for these up. But I will, I'll try to go in, if not tonight, first thing tomorrow, and add the dimensions for the paper cuts and all of that. Glue the bags. Okay. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. And I'll see you. Let's see. I will be live again Saturday on Facebook at noon for a flower collab with a bunch of other crafters. So thanks so much, everybody. See you